Howdy, y'all. Welcome to episode 19 of CardBlitz. I'm your host, Kelly Reed, joined by my good buddy and co-host, Patrick Marshall. Patrick, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? How's it going, man?
Oh, it's all good, man. We got a lot of things in store tonight with you got some NBA playoffs, you got NHL playoffs, you got some Dallas Cowboy news, you got Uncle Rich in the house. It's going to be a good show and a good night.
Ooh, I mean, I'm telling you, man. So, Kelly, where do you want to start? It's a big day. So
I think it's time to talk about birthdays. I think that's always what we start off with, right?
let's do it. So, I'm not sure if anyone knows. The younger generation doesn't know this, but May 14th on this day, Tony Perez was born, and he is an amazing athlete. This guy, I have a 76 tops, which I pulled out because you know why? The 2025 Heritage set has a 1976 top set. And this guy represents it so well. So if there's a card that's been autographed, it's like a 20 or 25 or something of 99, this guy deserves it. I mean, I'm not sure if he does it, but I mean, it's pretty cool.
That's a good question. I don't know if Tony Perez still signs for tops or if he even does through the mail or card shows. I don't know, man.
I could have
That's a
brought
good
a research
question.
before that, but I'm not sure if it happens yet. Yeah, maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't know as collectors. But look at this card, 77 tops.
That one
Wow.
looks familiar, Patrick. I feel like I saw this one from a card show from my buddy Brian and his 77 set.
The 77 top set is amazing to me, and I think Kelly will agree. This is a really incredible set. It's awesome. I mean, just having the
The
you know
design, the layout.
the design layout and like this and like on the back. I mean, it's cool, man. It's just cool. I'm just saying it's cool.
Well, definitely with Tony Perez turning 83 today. And do you remember what his nickname was back in the day? And
Big dog, baby.
Big Dog.
Woo,
Yeah,
woo,
that's
woo, woo.
exactly that's what I was going
Big
to go
dog,
with.
man. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah, Big Dog,
You
man.
should stump
Big
Patrick on
Dog,
that. It was
Big
great. I just
Doggy,
guessed that.
and
Big
Dog.
dog.
He had all three: Big Dog, Big Doggy, and Dog.
Oh, I know that. I remember Big Dog. I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Growing up, yeah, in the 70s, yeah, definitely, man. That's very cool. And from what I've read and seen, Tony Perez was the heart and soul of the Big Red Machine.
Yes, he was. I
You know.
mean, do you that 2000 in 2000 he was a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely inducted. Yeah.
it's pretty cool, man.
Do
And,
you have the Tony Perez autographs in your collection?
I don't, and I wish I did because he's one of those guys. We talked about things, and I looked into it. I'm like, there's certain people I want to collect as autographs, and I'm a big autograph collector. I love that,
Right.
and it's because of personalities. Now, I don't have one of his. I'm kind of bummed about that, but he's 83. Maybe I could send some to him right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to
And
do some research, right?
on next show, a future episode, we could like release that. I mean, that'd be cool. We could talk
Definitely.
about it. Yeah.
Well, that and the fact that he was he was born in Cuba. Him and his
Yes.
family immigrated to the States, and then he ended up working, I think, or playing for like his dad's company team up in New York, and somehow, some way, man, he ended up with the Reds, man. Like a
Apparently,
scout found him, and
his dad was a really good player too. Apparently.
yeah. So,
So,
so no, that's good for Tony, man, and like you said, heart and soul of the Big Red Machine, and he had a very long career as well.
yeah,
And winning three World Series titles, two as
that's
a
right.
player, one as a coach, 1990, first base coach with the Reds.
75, 76, and 80, I think, or something like that.
No,
I mean,
90. He was a coach.
oh, he was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he
Okay.
got two as a player, one as a coach.
Okay. Cool, man.
But one of my favorite Tony Perez cards is this one from 1986.
Oh yeah, look at that. Cool,
Yeah,
man.
I like the 86 design, man. I mean, it's kind of,
Who's that next to him? Is that Eric Davis? Who's
let's
that?
see here. Yes, it is number 44, Eric Davis, 24 meet 44.
And he was a rookie in '85. That who's just coming up. He's a stud, dude.
Oh, definitely, man. So, like I said, very, very happy to have a couple of Tony Perez cards, but this is my favorite because I like the design. And 1986, the era of hair metal and pizza and all that good stuff and baseball. So, good times.
That's right. That's good.
Well, dude, let's talk talk a little like NHL hockey with like the Dallas Stars, or do you want to talk playoffs, baseball or not
You,
baseball, but
you know
basketball?
what?
What do you think?
I think we should probably jump into like NBA, dude. I mean,
Okay,
seriously. I mean, okay, so the Mavericks have won the number one lottery pick seed,
definitely.
have a chance of like 2%. Is that correct, Kelly?
1.8%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1.8%. And they have Cooper Flag as their number one guy.
And there's
I would
also
like to,
talk about conspiracy and rigging and
yeah, so okay, this is great. I mean, let's discuss this because um, I mean, like we have a guy traded, a superstar of the Mavs. We have two guys who are supposed to. I'm not mentioning names soon. Two guys who take over and like lead the team to a playoff victory, and it hasn't happened yet. So, can a guy named Cooper Flag change that? I mean, what's your Dallas opinion on that?
well, I think with the Cooper Flag situation, they're thinking, and there's a lot of humor in this, but they're talking about, you know, does Nico Harrison trade down, pull up, does he take a page from
I heard
Jerry
that as
Jones?
well. Does he trade to get away from that? I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, like, can you save your name?
Well, Giannis with the Bucks, would you trade for, his 3 or 4 last productive years for Cooper Flag?
That's interesting. Is that a trade rumor?
Yeah,
Wow.
dude, there's all sorts of rumors. There's also bad rumors like trading a flag or the number one pick for Luka Doncic. And then there was a joke out there about trading Cooper Flag for Bronny James. So, and dude, there's
No.
still just
Okay.
chants of fire Nico everywhere on the internet, man.
But
There,
see, like I didn't want to mention his name because I think the guy's been through so much. But if he has a chance to do this and he can right the ship, I mean, okay, he may be a genius. You know what I'm saying, right?
well,
He could
yeah.
be a
I mean,
genius.
look, if you pull off Cooper Flag along with a healthy Kyrie Irving, you got Anthony
And
Davis,
and AD,
and you got the
no, and an AD, dude. I mean, dude, those three right there could win you at least
Gafford, Lively,
60 games.
PJ
Okay,
Washington.
55
It could
games.
be a very formidable lineup, man.
Yeah, 55 games. I mean, hopefully. I mean, wow.
Yeah, and then the Spurs down at San Antonio, they got the number 2 pick, and apparently
Yeah,
they got their eyes on some people.
you
So
know, so I grew up in Houston, so the I-10 connection to Spurs, I cut them off a long time ago. I love Popovich. He's a great guy. He's now a general manager, but I'm sorry, I'm
you're
not I'm
doing
not dealing with
right.
those guys.
Well, and then with Cooper Flag, our buddies over at Slab Stocks, they ran a card of his that sold, I guess, the night that he was drafted or the lottery pick took place.
Is there a card already out,
Oh,
Kelly?
a Bowman University card. It's like a red sapphire card.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, no, and it's like some auto rookie card of his or auto card of his, and it went for like something like $2,500 or something like that
Dude, you're kidding me.
in a college uniform. So yeah, I mean you get number one pick, and they're targeting Cooper Flag.
And you know why? Because there's so many people here in North Carolina where I live that are Duke fans and they love Duke basketball and they will pay anything for Duke basketball players and they love Cooper
Even in a
Flag
college uni,
and they will pay for anything that's
in
a
particular
of
a
this
college uni.
art. It's crazy, dude. I
Hmm.
mean, wow.
Well, I guess we should start stocking up on Cooper Flag cards, right?
You know what? You know what? Between Dallas and North Carolina, you and I should buy. It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, we're both in two of the hotbeds for his cards these days.
Correct.
Um, are you surprised at any of the like the with the I don't know like the Pacers closing out the Cavs yesterday? Does that surprise you at all, or?
It's what surprising is the first time since 2013, 2014 that the Pacers have made the NBA East Finals. And that's not that long. That's like only like 10 years ago,
A
right?
decade, right?
Right, but that's pretty impressive. I mean, the Pacers have good players, man. I
Hmm.
mean, like Halliburton is a good player, and those guys are. I think they're rocket. I mean, they beat the Cavs, and the Cavaliers had a great team, but they demolished them. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, 4-1
impressive.
in in 5 games, and they're moving on. So
It's
no,
pretty impressive.
we'll see who they face, man, because you got the Knicks that are surprisingly up 3-1 on the
I,
Celtics.
I have
And,
no idea what's going
and I
on
think
there.
that's a shock the world kind of series. Like I don't think anyone thought that the Knicks would go into Boston, take two, beat up on their players. Tatum is out now for like the rest of the year and probably most of next year, I heard, with his injury.
Ooh, I haven't heard that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's his Achilles, I think, got torn. So he's done.
Yeah. Does anyone know the score of tonight's game? I mean, I have no idea.
I dude, we're recording. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We'll have to ask
It's
Uncle Rich later on, man. See what Rich is thinking.
yeah, that's cool. That
But
works.
what about T-Wolves? They're also up 3-1 on the Nuggets.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Or
Like,
not Nuggets, my bad. 3-1 up on the
the,
Warriors. The
yeah,
Warriors.
you know what I mean? The Warriors are like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're hurting
Yeah, no Curry.
because I mean, it's tough because I
And no,
don't care
no
how,
Steph Curry. That's part of the
I'm not
reason
sure
he's
how good of
gone,
his.
man.
Steve Kerr is a great coach, but he can't do it without Curry. He can't do it.
Hmm.
And Timberwolves are great. Timberwolves are really good. I had no idea they had so many good players besides Richardson, Ant Man. I mean, they have Randall. They have so many good players.
Yeah.
So
That Gobert guy, he's kind of a tall defender, right?
yeah, he's a 10-10 guy. I mean,
Yeah, so when he's decent, he's formidable and helps them get some dubs.
so
What
I
about
think the
the
line.
I
I
was
think
gonna
the line
say
tonight was like Warriors plus 10.5. I'm like 10.5 points for a playoff game seems ridiculous.
no Steph Curry, dude. And then
Yeah, it is.
to me, the big series is this Thunder Nuggets series that's back and forth, and right now the Thunder they're up 3-2.
Yeah, dude. Like Djokovic he's. I mean, he's awesome. I mean, I watched him on Sunday. He's like throws behind his head, guy's open, stops, takes 3-pointer. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, I never really watched him this year, but I'm like, wow.
Well, yeah, when you're the MVP like twice of the league twice previously, and you've got
I mean,
a
he's
NBA title,
amazing, dude.
yeah.
I understand why now.
Well, let's see if he can put the team on his back and see if they can move forward, dude.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. Well, we talked a little NBA playoffs. We talked first round or the first pick overall in the NBA draft going to the Mavs. Um, do like a little show and tell action?
Yeah. So I want to do this guy. So actually,
All
in
right.
Charlotte this weekend is the PGA Championship. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Who is this guy?
Well, that's a great question because all I can read is Victory March. He keeps
I mean, he has not a cigarette in his mouth or a beer in his hands. It's John Daly,
all right.
1991 PGA Championship winner as a rookie. I mean, he was a stud. But this weekend in Charlotte is the PGA Championship, which is pretty awesome. 2025, and Xander Schauffele is the defending champion. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Well,
So
Daly, I remember like, was it like 2000, 2005, like that whole era of he was like a rebel, but now he's kind of revered. And I find that interesting for that golf community, which I'm not really a part of or know anything about, but to kind of hear, ramblings like, oh yeah, he's still a go-getter and still living his lifestyle on
yeah,
his terms. I find that interesting.
he's 49 years old. I mean, he's like doing whatever. I mean, he's doing what we can. I mean, to play golf is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he's living a different lifestyle than you and me, Patrick.
Yeah,
You have a
probably.
9 to 5 job. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. He's doing what we can.
Well, I've got from my buddy Aaron, who I've done some trades with via Facebook. He's part of this Facebook community. He sent me a bunch of cool 73 Topps football cards, and that's very kind of him, very cool of him. And I'm going to work on this 77,
Awesome, dude. I
73
love it.
set. Yeah, 1973 Topps football. You were there when I got some of those other cards at the Dallas Card Show, and so yeah, I'm just like starting to slowly put that set together. So, Aaron, thank you, dude. Certainly appreciate it. And
That's
I'll
pretty
send some
cool, man.
cards your way, man, when I find some that you like. And then we
Great.
talked about the what was it, the Topps Chrome Football 2024. And so at the card show recently, Dallas Card Show, I picked up this guy here, Tony Dorsett. And it's a pretty cool looking, like X-fractured looking kind of card, I think, or I don't know. It's all pixelated refracting lights. So,
Yeah.
dude, but Tony Dorsett, I can't say no. The only thing about it is, they airbrushed the logo off like it was 1980.
What college you go to? Quick.
Pittsburgh.
Boom. What
He's a
year?
Panther. So, say again?
What year you graduate?
77 or 70, 70, yeah, 70, spring of
77.
77, got drafted, came to the Cowboys. His first year won Super Bowl 12 with Roger Staubach.
Yeah, did you have his rookie? 78?
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Look, man, give me a second. I'll just reach on over and look, I got him and Emmett.
Boom, Kelly. That's it.
I've had this since like
Sweet.
1993. And so, you know, they'll be like, oh my gosh, it's in a screw down, but it's a recessed screw down
It's
back then even. So, oh, dude, you know how people are. They're like, oh my God, you're ruining this rookie card. I'm like, no, dude, we're good.
That's hilarious. I've got those too.
I like pairing up cards, man. You know how like I talked about like that 1961 Roger Maris card that I got, and now I want to try to find a cool 61 mantle to pair up because that 61 and 61
Ooh.
season, you know,
Well,
I just like pairing up cards. I think that it's cool.
the 60 season's even better. 60 is awesome.
Yeah, but just remembering that 61 homers in 1961 single season record until got broke by Mark McGuire, and then Barry Bonds broke his single season record. So stay awake
But
there, Patrick. I know it's it's,
that's
it's
cool.
early for you.
No,
You got to
no,
keep
sorry,
going.
dude. It's East Coast, baby.
Yeah, I know, man. These East Coast times are ready to put you out.
It's East Coast with 3 kids. I'm sorry, guys.
You look over and you just be like nodding off and like, Kelly, what happened
No,
to
no, I'm not.
your
Absolutely not.
your co-host? He fell asleep. I don't know. You tell me, man. Lastly,
Yes.
I got a parcel in the mail, but this is from Mark, from our buddies over at Stream of Card Consciousness.
Dude, I got something to send him as well. So,
Yeah, let me get this thing going because I told Mark I would open this thing live. So Mark sent me a wonderful little card here, and it means the world to me, man. Mark, I don't know how to say it, but thank you, man.
oh, Han Solo.
Yes, this is the last sticker I need for
Nice.
my
Oh, yeah.
1977
Yeah, that's cool, man. Great.
Top Star Wars set, man.
Awesome, Mark. That's awesome, dude.
So, Mark, we're not worthy, but thank you. It means the world, man. I'm dead serious, and I look forward to paying you forward and paying you back with more cards your way too. Like
That's
that's
awesome.
community and that's the hobby, and I love it, man.
That's exactly what it is, man.
I
Awesome.
I told him I was waiting like a kid waiting for like a present underneath a tree, just every day I've been like waiting for our show, man. Like, come on, come on, come on, come on. I can't wait to open it. Can't
Oh,
wait
you
to
know
open
what?
it.
That's pushing it, Kelly. Let's do a stocking stuffer. Have a stocking.
Yeah, I don't know if I got that excited about stockings, but presents definitely. So that, Mark, thank you again. Truly appreciated to Mark over there at Stream of Card Consciousness. So we got to partner up again, Mark.
Good stuff.
You, Greg, Patrick, me. We got to make this happen.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Well, lastly, man, I was going to get into the whole GemRate thing. Remember we talked about that last episode, and you were like, "Yeah, how many cards are getting graded and stuff?" And
Yeah.
hang in there, dude.
Dude, sorry, dude. Sorry.
You're,
Okay.
they're going to be
Hey
like,
guys, to my defense, I went to the PGA Championship all day today, and it was great. It was amazing. It was awesome. It was a practice round, and like I walked, I don't know, I mean, 18,000 steps, which I'm not sure what that means on my iPhone, but apparently people aim for 5,000. So I tripled that. So for a guy in his 50s, give it up for me. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I'm no excuses, but that's it.
well, overall though, my notes here that it shows like grading crossed like over 2 million cards between like the big four of PSA, CGC, SGC, and Beckett. And so
Okay.
you were asking me about that. So yeah, I did some research, and overall, year to year for PSA up 29%. For
Wow.
CGC, now they do a lot of the Pokemon stuff, but they're up like 89% from last year to this year. SGC, they're up 2%. Beckett, unfortunately, is down 9%. So,
Really?
yeah, that's where we're
Wow.
at. All right, Rich, how you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you? It's so good to see you. And for those who don't know, Kelly and I worked together at Beckett way back in the day
And
and you too, Patrick.
That's right. Now we're the three amigos. We're back in the house together.
Yes, we're all back in the house. So for those who don't know, we know each other a heck of a long time.
what?
And
It's
it
been
was
a long.
great. I saw you both at a Dallas card show and we got to reconnect. And that was really cool.
Yes, that was cool.
That
Definitely.
really, it was like, oh, hi. Okay, yes.
Let's get
Because
reacquainted.
at a Dallas, for those who have never been to a Dallas card show, I've been to a lot of nationals, but a Dallas card show is a mini national. It is legitimately 700 tables and it's legitimately a long experience. I mean, at this point, I know what corners I can cut when I go there. So I can do the show basically in 2 full days nowadays. But as an example, as how big it is, I took my wife and one of my great nieces to the show maybe a year ago. And after an hour, she went to me, I'm leaving, I'm going home. I go, fine. Because we were all done for the weekend anyway. And then she goes to me, I now know why when you say it's a Dallas card show weekend, you don't want to go out at all that weekend.
Right. Right.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of meeting and greeting and walking around. And if you've got any kind of luggage, cards, backpack, your hands are full and you're busy.
Yes. And I mean, and not just me, but the good Dr. Beckett and Gabe Harrow, who you work with at Beckett as well, and
Oh
some other
yes,
people you may
yes.
know.
Yeah.
We are all hitting the value boxes at the show. And we call some of us just call it dollar boxes, but I just say value because some of the boxes are dimes and quarters. So I mean they're not all dollars. Some
I,
of them some of
I
them
love that. I
even
love
I
that.
can afford.
I love it.
Good value, right?
Good value.
Well, Rich, speaking of shows, man, you've got a show coming up, and I'm really curious about like how it got started and like your role in it, and then just educating our viewers with what your show's all about, man.
Well, I've been running this show for 11 years now with a break for COVID, which kind of threw off everything in a lot of ways. We actually began it, and the people in the Adat Chaverim Brotherhood are a little sick of hearing the story. But we were having a meeting because we were having our typical issues just to make sure we weren't destitute, but we had to keep our money above a certain amount. And I said, look, I'll run you a card show. I'll make you $500 just to help keep our things going. This is 2014. The hobby's not where it is now in 2014. There were maybe 5 or 6 stores in the DFW area, and there weren't a lot of shows. So it was more like, and I just was going to sell tables. I wanted to do it once. So I wanted to sell tables at $25 a piece. I figured I'd sell 20 tables. I'd make the $500. We'd go away. I showed I could do a show, and life would go on. Well, we did a lot more than $500. And I had gotten some really good advice from a dear hobby friend of mine by the name of Mark McRae, who ran a show for his church for more than 30 years. And basically, I called Mark and then I listened to him for a long time. And he explained to me what to do and what not to do with a nonprofit show.
Okay.
And now we have a new location. After the pandemic, we moved out of where we were, and we now have a smaller building. And so I don't try to run it as one of the shows that the young Turks who are running their shows nowadays run. I run it more nowadays as a family friendly. It always was family friendly, but as a family friendly neighborhood type show, Pickers Delight. It is not a Pelican Case show. I mean, I do have a couple people who have cards for people like that, but the general purpose is to have collector-based dealers or collector dealers as my people, so they can, because that's who I think fits better with the current status of where we are and what we're doing.
Or traders, right?
Or traders.
Yeah, perfect.
Absolutely. It's a fun show. And what you probably never saw was when we were in our previous location, I once got a phone call from, at the time, our Brotherhood president explaining to me that we were doing about 10 to 20 door prizes every show. It's not a problem when you're running a show for profit and you're giving door prizes away. It's been relaxed a little, but at that time, Texas had a state law where a nonprofit could not do more than 2 raffles in a year. 10 door prizes a show was breaking the law with every show.
You're a wanted man, Rich.
I'm a wanted man. And we adjusted. So how we adjusted is the Brotherhood president, who's a bit of a collector himself, and his son lives up in the Sherman Denison area. And actually, he's a bit of a collector too. And he remembered a dealer in the 90s named Myron, who would bring these bags of cards and there'd always be a prize slip inside. Well, that was totally legal to do that for us, because when you got your bag, you already received something of value, and the prize slip was the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae. Now that's wonderful, except I had to constantly come up with cards and prizes every single show, every 6 months.
Like a carnival.
Like a carnival. Plus sell the tables, plus do the promotion.
Right. Wow.
You know, I would be I'm still tired at the end of the show because I'm a bit older now, but I would be absolutely drained and exhausted at the end of every one of those shows. And I would need maybe 2 or 3 days to recover. Now I need basically 1. But still, it was a lot of work. I was touching the shows in those days pre-pandemic, maybe 330 days during the year, because I'd be getting donations, I'd be getting prizes, and I have to figure out, what do I want this to be a prize? Do I want to just break this and put this into cards that we give away? And we ended up with so many cards that we had a storage unit too, which all this went away during the pandemic. It was fine. We didn't need to be paying when we didn't know when we'd be running a show again. But it was certainly an experience. It was certainly an experience. Now we've kept a couple of the traits. We keep it as a very friendly show, a very family friendly show. We still provide for the vendors on Sunday morning because of some religious dietary reasons that we don't want. I tell people, look,
okay,
if you don't tell me and you bring in a ham and cheese, don't bring in a ham and cheese sandwich. Bring in a turkey and cheese sandwich. You're not supposed to mix dairy and meat products, but I'm okay.
And make it kosher if you can.
Yeah, at least, if both items are okay, I'm okay if you mix it. But don't bring a ham and cheese sandwich, and bring a roast beef and cheese sandwich. And if you so, bring a sandwich. Yeah. So we do provide for our vendors bagels and cream cheese and coffee on Sunday morning. And then we have hot dogs, chips, and soda. All of those are $1 each item. So it's like eating at Sam's Club. And by the way, they're because we do get kosher hot dogs. They're Nathan's famous, so they're really good.
Yeah.
So we have, it's like going to Sam's Club or Costco for lunch. So it's
Awesome.
very affordably priced. Trust me, we make money when we sell that, but the problem is we don't want to have too much of it left over. But trust me, it's still a profit, regardless of what they tell you. Regardless of what they tell you at Costco, they're making money on it.
Well, Rich,
Regardless.
When is your next shows?
Oh yeah, the next show, and the reason you have me on is we're getting to it. Is the next show is Memorial Day weekend, Sunday and Monday. And there's a Facebook page for Adat Chaverim Brotherhood Memorial Day weekend show. It's from Adat Chaverim, and it's 6000 Custer Road, number 9, Plano, Texas 75023. And yes, I've written that address so often that it's seared in my memory.
You got quite the memory, huh?
And the show runs Sunday from 10 to 4 and Monday from 11 to 3, because I do have a couple of people who come in from out of town, and I want them to drive home with as much light as possible. So we don't kill anybody with the hours. And it's $2 to get it. And I'd rather it still be $1. And I'm going to be very honest. We have had to, and this was even before 10/7, we were increasing security after the Allen Outlet Mall shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So we now have security at the show. Well, you have security, you have to pay for it.
Right.
It's not a free lunch.
Right. So you got to cover costs. So you
got to cover costs. So the first time we did it, we actually absorbed all the costs, because the Allen Outlet Mall shooting a couple of years ago was like 2 weeks before the show. And I'm not going to charge people more after I've announced things. We absorbed all the costs on that. Now we raised the table prices slightly by $5 a day, which is not terrible. And we charge $2 as a suggested donation. By the way, if somebody really says, I don't want to pay, we let you in. And I'm usually pretty mellow about letting in significant others and kids and members of the synagogue. I don't charge. So I'm pretty mellow about stuff like that. I mean, if you have a good reason not to pay, I just say fine. It's not a big deal. We're going to do fine.
Especially kids. Kids.
Especially kids. We don't charge for kids.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't charge for kids, and I don't charge for significant others either, of either sex, because sometimes the lady's the collector and the man's the significant other. That does happen. So I just say, and sometimes I make fun and I say, oh, you're the collector to the lady when she comes in.
That's right.
Oh, no, he's the collector. Okay.
Let me ask you, Rich, card show wise, like your collecting origins, I assume were like back to the 70s at some point.
Actually, the first packs I bought and remembered were third series 68. I go back to the 60s, when dirt was just a concept.
Right, a long time ago then.
A long time ago.
Let me ask you this then. So pre-Beckett days, pre-price guides, going to card shows, like how did that work? Like the marketplace and dealers and prices and trading and like value, like how
Great question,
that back
they were cheaper. And I'm a frequent guest on Dr. Beckett's podcast, and we talk a lot about things like that. And one of the reasons he started pricing, and we all ended up at some point working there, was he understood that order had to come out of chaos. You could go to a show and one table would have the Rod Carew 67 high number at $10, which was not a terrible price. And the next person would have it at 75 cents because it was a very accessible, easy card to get, and prices had not yet exploded. So having at least a common ground made it easier. And we're discovering, as I said, nowadays, there's so many cards out there that in some extent that some people price more expensively than others their cards, and some people price cheaper. And everybody has a reason they price cards when they do. I know I'm going to go this weekend. I know there are 2 shows this weekend. I'm going to go probably to my good friend Kyle Robertson's show at 6, basically at the intersection of 635 and 75, because I know there'll be a couple value boxes from people who I buy from.
Yeah.
that will be there. And so even though there's a show in Frisco, which is closer and might help the show more, I also have to, partner that with, they're not that far away from my show if they're at 635 and 75. So I can still hand out stuff there too.
Yeah.
Right, and spreading goodwill and all that good stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, Rich, that's pretty cool. I mean, like, I wanted to ask you, like, I'm very interested in this. I mean, well, tell me about your hobby journey. Like, when did collecting start for you?
As I said, I never really stopped, and I started in '68. And I mean, I had
It just kept going.
I don't want to say I stopped, but I kind of during 9th and 10th grade slowed down. And then by the time I was a senior in high school, it really picked up. I started subscribing to Sports Collectors Digest and the Trader Speaks during my senior year in high school because I had a lot more time. All of a sudden, when they talk about the senior slump, it really wasn't a senior slump in high school. It was more like, I don't have as much to do. I don't have as much to do in work anymore. Everybody's kind of relaxing all the work I'm doing. So I got more time. Oh, baseball cards. It's a very nice, fun hobby. I know something about the cards. I had tried collect. My father had been a vest pocket stamp and coin dealer, or what they would call a weekend warrior.
Yep. I was
but I didn't
myself.
And I had some experience, but I wasn't as good. And baseball cards, I understood. So that became where my collector gene went to, was understanding that. And I really never stopped from that point on. I had a brief lull, but I still bought the 74 set, the 75 set, the 76 set. We had a couple stores by that point in New Jersey. So I would go to stores occasionally too. We actually had stores as early as 74, 75 in New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Sets, and you were just able to purchase the whole thing, or were you going through boxes and packs?
No, by 70, by that time I was buying the whole set. I still would buy some packs because that's what you did.
And chew the gum. So yes.
And chew the gum. but in reality, I could buy the whole set. And you knew you got the whole set at one time.
Well, which is really cool. It's like 75 is my favorite set. I have the whole 75 set in probably very good to near mint condition. And I love that set. There's something about it. But my dad would laugh at me. He goes, "What do you want for your birthday?" And it was like, or Christmas. And I was like 18, 19. He goes, "I want a 75 top set." My dad goes, he's from England. He goes, "I have no idea what the heck you're talking about." I'm like, "Would you look it up? I can help you." He goes, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, this is exactly what I want." And this is, I mean, I'm
dudes on
54
cards,
now, so I'm like,
once.
I was like, "I want a 75 top set that's near mint. That's it, Dad." He goes, "All right, I'll see if I can find it for you." And I still have it to this day. I mean, that's the passion of collecting. I think
I shouldn't tell you this.
That's it. It's so cool, man. It was so cool.
But in the early 80s, I once spent $200 and I bought, you don't want to know how many 1975 Topps cards. And I made 6 sets. And I literally, is the best I could, started, I had, and it went in condition. The 6 set was like the worst one, and then the best condition cards went into set number 1.
Yeah, right.
Of course, I've sold them all. But I had so many 75s. I got tired of 75s. I literally had what today this was pre-Monster Box, but today it would be probably 2 Monster Boxes of 75s to make all those.
Wow.
Sets.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It was a very good, let's just say it was one of my better investments. In terms of knowing what to buy, to say, yeah, this one will work.
Yeah, but it was it had Brett, Yount, Lynn. It was so attractive.
Yeah, Jim Ed Rice and Gary.
Yeah,
Carter.
Jim Rice. Yes, exactly. It was so good.
It's a great set, and
it still is to this day. I won't argue that. Yeah,
but it's probably the most popular set of the 70s because it's affordable. You do have the key rookies.
Yep.
I think 72 is the biggest challenge. The high numbers make 72 the biggest challenge.
Okay.
But 75, it's an accessible set, but it's got enough challenges to make it a fun set to collect. But it's not so outrageous that you're going to throw up your hands and say, "I can't do this set."
Right.
you have to think about your finances, about Brad and Yount and how much you want to spend for them, and then Carter and
Oh
Rice.
yeah, Carter. I forgot. Don't forgot about it.
Then all those people. Oh, Keith Hernandez won an MVP. He's a rookie in '75, and maybe someday he makes the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
He's also been an
that's right.
announcer
Correct.
for the Mets
Yeah.
for all these years. So, plus he was on that Seinfeld episode, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of very popular things in '75, and so it's a good set, and it's really during the period, 74 to 77 in some ways is one of the most boring eras for top sets. And in some ways, it's one of the best eras for top set because they have their patterns. They had good player selection. The sets are comprehensive. And they're not so easy that it's like doing the overproduced cards from 80s, 88, 89, 90. But it's not so hard. It's not like trying to finish the high numbers of 66 or 67 tops, which is why they really hit, in some ways, to this day, they hit a sweet spot with those sets.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's not like having like 5 1980 Dave Steve rookies and going, wow, I hit the jackpot. Yeah, I mean,
that was a decent enough card, and at the end of the decade, because Dave Steve was probably the best American League pitcher of the '80s.
For 7 years, he was great. I mean, I'm 6 years. I mean, he was amazing. I was a Blue Jays fan back in the day, so yeah, I love that. But what about the '77 top set? Do you like that?
I love the '77 top set. That's another set I think is very underrated. It's a simple design.
It's sweet. I like it.
It's a simple design. It's got rookies. It's got a Suter rookie. It's got a Dawson rookie. It's got a Murphy rookie.
Yeah.
It's not as impressive as a rookie, but it's even got a Mark the Bird Fidrich rookie, which was actually the most expensive card in '77 when those cards came out, because all the Detroit dealers, which was a very active market, wanted Mr. Fidrich in '77.
Oh, Fidrich. Oh, yeah. Fidrich. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And so it's got a comprehensive thing. And if you really want a fun challenge with '77, it's not tops. They chose like 100 photos for the OPC set, and there are some, there are some trades. There's a lot of different photos. There are some people who, with the Blue Jays, I believe, weren't in, because that was the first year for the Blue Jays. They weren't in the top set as Blue Jays.
Wow.
So if you really want, it's not expensive. It's just a fun challenge. Go find yourself the '77 OPC set. It's only like 264 cards. It's not like it's, and trust me, and all those rookies are in there. Right? It is not going to break your bank. But if you want a fun set, go do that. That's one thing I can't guarantee you whether anybody would have the '77 OPCs at my show.
Yeah.
But if they do, I promise you, it'd be very reasonable to go look for.
I've got a '77 Dave Winfield felt and a Tony Perez felt.
Yeah, the clusters.
That's really cool. I mean, is there a felt set out there that you know?
Yeah, that's a 55 card. There's actually a 73 card set. There are 55 players and 18 what they call puzzle pieces.
Really?
And if you really want a challenge and you're really a little bit OCD, every one of the cloth stickers in the '77 set have either 1 or 2 stars on the back.
Really?
Yes.
Wow,
so if you really want a challenge, and you want, we have a lot of people who talk about making master sets. Well, that's a master set that's affordable because none of the players are super expensive, but it could be a challenge to find both varieties of the George Brett card.
That's pretty cool because I have the Winfield right here. I mean, next time we're on, maybe next time we're together, we show like those obscure sets. It would be really cool.
So I'll try to have some for the next time you're ready. But that's just one of the cool things. I do a lot of that with my work at ComC, as I've done a lot of that over the years, break out a lot of these cards because I'm fascinated by that, and it's a pro and a con.
That's cool.
It's a pro and a con. And I say that because you want to have your collectors know what they're buying. But on the other hand, many of the collectors would just say, I want one Dave Winfield. I don't care about whether it's 1 star or 2 star. Others will say, I want both. And so which group of collectors are you really trying to serve properly? And so that is a constant give and take. Just you have to think about things like that. When I talk about people in my show, I also think about, yes, it's only 20 tables, so I know I can't serve everybody. And that's why I've adjusted the show to what, and I get great help from the Brotherhood, but they are not, most of them are tangentially involved in the baseball card business because I'm involved. In other words, they don't know baseball cards. They know what to do for the show. In fact, we had our Brotherhood board meeting last night, and I told our Brotherhood president, I will send you an email, and I sent it to him after the meeting, delineating what times and how many people we need and why we need people for each shift. And the shift is there's a Saturday shift of setting up the room like later in the afternoon, so we don't do it during the day, during our Sabbath. And then there's the load in on Sunday morning. Then there's I'll call it a lull period between, let's say, noon and 3 on Sunday, where it's still going on, but I mean, we don't have to do as much. The show is basically being the show.
Right.
And then there'll be 1 or 2 people loading out on Sunday because we have 3 people coming in on Monday who could only do Monday, which is kind of neat. And I said, so I'm not overly concerned if I'm not sold out on Sunday. I'm not overly concerned. I'll tell people to spread out for one day. I got people coming in tomorrow. And so it's not a big deal. And, and then Monday we, the start of the show will be, we've kicked up the entrance for 30 minutes on Monday from 10 to 9:30 for vendor setup. So everybody has enough time to get in the door. And then, again, there'll be a lull period from, let's say, 11 to 1, 11 to 2, while the show is the show. And then after 2 o'clock, everybody starts breaking down. So you have to know how the rhythm of the show goes.
Gotcha.
And rhythm is, the rhythm is very important. Understanding,
the flow.
The flow and understanding for the Brotherhood, what we need is, there'll be somebody who's going to be cooking the hot, and we'll put it on a roller. It's like if you're going to Quick Trip or QT, it's on the roller. It's not really hard. And the sodas come in a can and the chips come in packages. It's not, that's not that difficult.
Right.
But also, have somebody sit with me so I can take a quick break if I need to, just to hit the men's room.
Right. Those things happen. Rich,
go ahead.
I was going to ask you this as we're kind of wrapping up here.
Sure.
Obviously I want to save some for future episodes and hanging out with you some more, but how did you get the moniker Uncle Rich?
The very first person who ever gave me the moniker Uncle Rich was Nigel Spill in the 1990s, who was a person we bought a lot of oddball sets from. He started calling me Uncle Rich 25 years before anybody else ever bought it.
That's cool.
But then when the pandemic hit and I became the wise old guy who knew everything, so to speak, I became the wise old uncle. Instead of Father Rich, I became Uncle Rich, and I like Uncle Rich. It works fine. I like Uncle Rich. It works fine. So I am Uncle Rich.
It's good.
And that's how we got started. And it's a blast hanging out with y'all. And, as you can see, we've barely touched the surface of.
But we have so much more to talk about, Uncle
Absolutely.
Rich.
Well, yeah, definitely. We'll do this again, Rich. Thank you for being a part of this show and this episode. And it means the world to me. And like I said,
thank you.
Definitely.
You're welcome. I had a blast. And as I said, I'm happy to be on any time. And we will cut this, everybody probably wants to go to sleep at some point. But, just a second reminder, Adat Chaverim is located at 6000 Custer Road, number 9, Plano, Texas, 75023. I will tell you, if you have GPS or Waze or, all those things, it will take you right to the door. If you're trying to find it, it can be a little tricky. So I always suggest that people call me, if you have any issues trying to get there, because it's 50-50. You can miss it if you don't have the GPS.
I'll put it in the show.
Trust me, I can speak
linking
from
there.
experience on that. I missed it the first 2 times that I ever tried to find it, so I can tell you from
got to know where you're
experience.
going in the maze, and
It is. It's really. It's if you know where you're going. Oh yeah, I know all this. But if you don't know where you're
First
going,
time.
you can. First time, it's a 50-50.
Yeah,
definitely. But
if you're ever in Charlotte and you come by a show here, you have to come with me. Let's go.
You got
it, Uncle Rich. Let's go. It'll be
definitely.
fun.
About what is it? 2 weeks now, Rich, your show, and then I'll see you on that Sunday or that Monday. Then.
That sounds like a plan. We're looking forward to it, Kelly.
All right. Well,
Patrick,
take care.
it's great to see you again, buddy.
That's great.
Y'all.